And good morning, everybody. We welcome you live to Arnold, Nebraska for coverage of the 2023 Sandhills Open Road Challenge. My name is Brent Apperson. Be joined shortly by Jeremy Shipe as we welcome you aboard for our annual broadcast of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, the 23rd year of this great event. We are live here at the start line in Arnold, and we'll be bringing you the pageantry of the opening leg of this Sandhills Open Road Challenge live on KBBN 95.3 FM, KBBN.com. We also have our live video stream up and running as well. You can view the action from here at the start line in Arnold as the cars take off on their journey this morning. You can access it through sandhillsexpress.com or going directly to the Sandhills Express Facebook page and Sandhills Express YouTube channel. Currently in Arnold, just a gorgeous morning. 64 degrees, a very light breeze if there is one out of the north, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. We have, I guess, what you would call partly to mostly cloudy skies, but all in all, it is a beautiful morning for this great event. And with that said, we welcome aboard to the broadcast area Jeremy Shipe, who will kind of be your main play-by-play guy as the cars come to the start line and take off on the Sandhills Open Road Challenge today. Jeremy, what a beautiful morning. What a great past 2 days it has been for some of the other activities. And today we get ready for the race that started it all.
Yes, the race that started it all. The other two races came along a little bit later, but what a three-day event it has become over the last 23 years. Beautiful days for racing so far this year again, and great racing so far as well. Couldn't ask for a smoother ride for all of these drivers and guests of the area, because they often bring people with them as well that are all kind of a part of it, a driver, a navigator, and then they kind of rotate driver and navigators, or it's the same people that drive the car each year. But it's always a great tradition, and we'll see a lot of familiar names, but we'll see some new names this year as well.
One thing that we will be doing again this year, and we're proud to be able to bring you the live video stream. Again, you can access it on sandhillsexpress.com. It's being broadcast through our Facebook page and YouTube channel. We want to say thanks to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Committee and board members who are making this possible to do the video stream again this year. We want to certainly thank all of the sponsors that are bringing you the radio coverage and the video coverage of today's event. Really amazing, Jeremy, to look at the camera setup that you have put together. It's really neat to be able to bring the pictures to the folks, because this is a visual event. There's no question about it. We'll describe it as best we can. Most of our description will kind of concentrate on the make of car and certainly on the people who are behind the wheel, but the pictures make it, and it's great to be able to bring people the video stream once again.
Yeah, and as far as the listeners in their vehicles in the race, they always kind of get a good idea from what we're broadcasting as far as when all of a certain class have left the starting line. They like to listen in to know that that is happening. And then we also get word from the other side from Dave and Joan, and they let us know when those classes are complete and they have reached the finish line on the other side for the first half of the race, which I know a lot of the drivers like to listen in and hear as well.
Yeah, as the drivers take off this morning and go from Arnold to Dunning, that's just leg number one. They turn around and come back, and then both runs are calculated into their speed and time, and then, of course, the awards will be handed out later on tonight here in Arnold. Do want to let you know that, as Jeremy mentioned, Dave Burney, Joan Burney on the other end, and they will be bringing the cars back and describing that for you on the radio on KBBN 95.3 FM later today. So we'll have full radio coverage of today's event for you on KBBN FM. They are doing some mic checks, getting things ready. The cars are starting to get lined up, and we are getting close to race time here for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue to get you set up for today's race. You're listening to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge on KBBN Radio and on sandhillsexpress.com.
first-come, first-served basis. Enjoy the excitement of SORC from the Callaway District Hospital and the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics.
And again, we come back live to Arnold, Nebraska. We are here for the start of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge in 2023. Boy, Mother Nature has just blessed us with 3 beautiful days of weather for the main events of this Sandhills Open Road Challenge here in 2023. It's a gorgeous morning, and we are getting close to racing action. They are continuing to do mic checks and making sure that everything is safe along the roadway. And as I bring Jeremy Scheidt back in to the broadcast area, Jeremy, that is certainly the main thing that the organizers of this event have pushed year in and year out. Yes, we want to have fun. Yes, the drivers want to go fast. Yes, they want to compete for championships and all of that. But the main priority is always safety, and they are doing all of those safety checks at this moment before they send the cars out on the road.
Yeah, and they'll continue to do those checks as the cars drive up out of Arnold. They've got the Blueprint Engines tent set up, and that tent will kind of be the main point for those checks. They check the tires, they rub their hands around the tread, make sure there's nothing there. They give a yank on the wheels to make sure that those are nice and secure. And then they also look inside the vehicle, make sure there's nothing loose in there. Up in Halsey, you get a really good look at that. They make sure there's no loose water bottles or lunch boxes or cell phones or anything like that. Everything has to be secured or attached to a roll cage, and that's what they're checking for, because we've seen it time and time again. We've seen those state patrol demonstrations, those rollover demonstrators. If you've got a backpack or something, it becomes some outrageous amount. It like multiplies in its force. If it's like a 10-pound bag, when you're in a rollover, it's like 1,000 pounds or something. So they make sure they get all of that out of the way and make sure that all of the drivers are as safe as possible.
Well, again, through our broadcast today, we'll be thanking all of our great sponsors who are bringing you today's coverage, both on the radio and both on our video stream. And since we have a moment before the cars go out on the raceway, we'll thank our sponsors at this time, and Jeremy will do that for you now.
You'll see on your video screen throughout the broadcast at the top right-hand part of the broadcast, there are some sponsors that are scrolling there. You'll see those throughout the stream. Grant also has a graphic that he'll flip up on the screen every now and then, which are the corporate sponsors for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and we have an agreement with SORC to make sure that we thank those folks repeatedly for all that they do, and we'll continue to do that throughout the broadcast. On the radio side of things, we want to thank our gold sponsors, CarQuest of Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, and Mills Hardware in Arnold, as well as Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers. Our silver sponsors are Trumbull Repair and Towing, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Reed's Food Center, Gateway Motors, Trotter Service Broken Bow, Sandhills Corral, Anderson Auto Tech, The Smoke Shack, and Wenquist Incorporated. And our bronze sponsors are Pinnacle Bank of Arnold, First State Insurance of Arnold, RT Ace Hardware Broken Bow, Bierman Vet Services, BD of Broken Bow, and Mount Custer Truck Sales, as well as State Farm Insurance Agent Donna Cahill. And we'll thank our video sponsors as well as we get ready for action. They haven't set the, I call it the pace car or the test car down the track yet. Mr. Olson getting ready to do that here soon when they give him the okay. Video broadcast sponsors include the Callaway Market, Bierman Vet Services, Aero Aviation, J.R. Meyer Insurance, Trotter Service Broken Bow, Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, Power Solutions, Cobblestone Hotel and Suites, Rod's Body and Paint, Nebraska State Bank, Govier Brothers Mortuary with the Arnold and Mullen Funeral Homes, Broken Bow Legends Neighborhood Grill, Ferreter Auto Parts, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Mills Hardware, First State Insurance in Arnold, CarQuest Broken Bow, and A1 Auto Repair in Arnold.
Well, it'll give us an opportunity to kind of give you a feel for what you'll be watching and seeing and listening to here today. Of course, the event is divided up into mile-per-hour classes. You'll have 80 miles an hour, I think, all the way to 120 that'll be featured here today. And, of course, the goal is to try to average your speed and your time as you go to and come back from Dunning, and that'll be the goal of the drivers here today.
Yes, and then also some other different classes that kind of have different rules, both on maybe like the vehicle or how the time is kept. We'll have the vintage 85-mile-an-hour class here again today. Those are cars that are a certain age and older. And we will also have the extreme classes. Idea with extreme is they still have a tech speed, which is the maximum speed that they can go, but they're just trying to complete the course as quick as possible. So they're not trying to average a speed. They just have a maximum speed that they can go, and it is a full-on race in that situation. We have a little bit more information about SORC that we'll kind of get into as we get closer. Saw one of the vehicles go down the track a little ways, but he's coming back at this time, and we'll get under racing here pretty soon, I'm sure.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with more from here in Arnold right after this. Vehicle you can depend on. It helps to shop where you have a large variety to choose from. At Gateway Motors, their lots have cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to check out and test drive. Having a lot of vehicles on their lot means it will be easier for them to find you the right one. Don't forget, whether new or pre-owned, vehicles with less than 100,000 miles come with warranty forever. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge action. Gateway Motors in Broken Bow.
Trotter Service is your hometown auto repair and tire shop. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Whether it's a new battery, brakes, alignment, or any other repair, they have the auto repair specialist to get it done right for all your vehicles. Remember, they offer bulk oil and fuel delivery and on-the-farm tire service, too. Enjoy the SORC racing action. Brought to your radio in part by Trotter Service in Broken Bow.
Excited, thrilled, exhilarated, delighted. They're all the above at the Sandhills Corral in Thetford. They're excited to announce a new menu that includes delicious tender steaks that will make your taste buds happier than ever before. Drink specials are always changing too. And make sure you stop by during their new hours, Monday to Thursday, 11 to 10, and Fridays and Saturdays from 11 until 1 a.m. If you haven't stopped in a while, you owe it to yourself to do so. Bring that SORC road racing car to the Sandhills Corral in Thetford.
At Reed's Food Center in Arnold, they're proud to have served the Arnold community for over 40 years. They remain committed to providing outstanding customer service to everyone who comes through their doors. They're proud to keep local dollars in Arnold, offer the best selections at low prices, and embody small-town friendliness in everything they do. From catering, custom meat cutting, seasoning and tying roasts, to carrying your groceries to your car. Reed's Food Center in Arnold. Like their Facebook page or visit reedsfoodcenter.com.
Anderson Auto Tech is ready to serve you Monday to Friday, 8 to 6, West Highway 2, Broken Bow, just off the curve. Dave and his crew pride themselves on doing the work you need done right while being honest and showing care for your vehicle. For personalized small-town service you won't find anywhere else, head to Anderson Auto Tech. With technology and custom fabricating at their fingertips, they can handle what other shops can't. Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow.
The Smoke Shack in Broken Bow invites you to attend Smoke and Spirits, a whiskey and cigar event at Kincaidor Brewing Company in Broken Bow. Friday night, August 18th at 6 p.m., join master whiskey taster Kip Gibbons as he walks you through Sideshow Spirits products and processes. A ticket of $35 gets you 2 cigars from the Smoke Shack, a tasting glass to take home, and a flight of 5 Sideshow Spirit products and a swag bag. Get your tickets on evenbright.com. Friday night, the 18th, at Kincaidor Brewing in Broken Bow. Smoke and Spirits with the Smoke Shack and Sideshow Spirits.
And we come back to Arnold, Nebraska. Well, they sent the test car out on the runway, and so it'll be testing out the road here and making sure that everything is looking good. And then when it has completed its journey, we will probably get the cars to the start line and start the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. So as we still wait for official racing to begin, Jeremy's got a little information on the Sandhills Open Road Challenge and some of the history behind this great event.
Yeah, the SORC race was founded in 2001, and it's argued to be the most challenging open road race in America. It's comprised of 55 miles of narrow blacktop country road that offers enough twists, turns, and straights to keep racers busy. Tech speeds are the max speed that racers can travel, go as high as 145 miles an hour. Racers are advised to have a full tank of adrenaline. The SORC is a nonprofit organization with all proceeds being donated to local civic organizations. The success of the SORC rests upon the efforts of the people of Arnold and the welcome they give all racers. With less than 600 residents, Arnold offers hospitality unmatched. And again, today we'll see 9 classes. Target speeds of 80, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115, and 120 miles an hour. And like I said, tech speeds are the maximum speed that the cars in each class are allowed to go. So we're going to be going up right straight north, right out here of Arnold.
Those who compete in the event usually send in a little bio about themselves, maybe about their car and how many times they've been coming to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and we'll be sharing some of that information for you during our broadcast and live video stream here today as the cars come up to the start line and take off on their journey up to Arnold on this opening leg of the race. And as we read those bios, there are 2 things that continue to pop up, and we'll be sharing that with you. But when people say, why do you keep coming back? One of the first things that they say, the people of Arnold, the organizers, the people who put the event together, and just, the spectators from the area who come out and visit with the drivers. They love the small town atmosphere. They have embraced it, and you'll be hearing many throughout their bios that we read for you this morning during a portion of today's race. You'll be listening to the comments of many of them talking about how wonderful the people are in this area, and that's why they keep coming back. But another thing that so many say is they talk about the course, and they talk about how much they enjoy the challenge of this particular road race. So it's the people, but it's also the course itself and the challenge that it presents that brings a lot of these drivers back year after year after year. So it'll be another fun day. It'll be fun to see how things play out. And again, they'll be handing out the awards later today at the City Park in Arnold. They'll have their awards banquet later on this evening where they will honor those who not only compete here in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, but also handing out awards from the Loop-to-Loop race, which took place between Halsey and Purdom back on Thursday. And then the winners of the half-mile and 1-mile shootout, which took place yesterday between Cozad and Callaway. Myself, Jeremy Shipe, others were there to watch the half-mile and 1-mile shootout. It was a great event, Jeremy, and we saw some fantastic speeds and some fantastic runs that were turned in.
Well, and as I understand it, the 209 mile an hour and change speed that we saw in the half-mile was a new record.
Oh, for the half-mile.
For the half-mile. Wow. So congratulations, definitely in order there. And, we're quite a few years into this becoming a tradition, and we're still seeing records broken.
All right, we are still getting ready for race time. Again, they sent the test car out on the road to check out the road conditions and make sure that everybody is ready, and then we will start racing here in Arnold, Nebraska. We'll take another time out. You're listening to live coverage of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge on KBBN Radio and on sandhillsexpress.com.
Racers know that performance cars take a lot of TLC. To run efficiently, they need clean oil maintained by a quality filter. That's why so many drivers trust Napa Gold filters. You may not drive a Corvette at speeds averaging 120 miles an hour, but your family truckster still needs the same care to get your kids to school. Lucky for you, WinQuest is having their fall filter sale September 5th through the 16th. Whether you drive a Mustang or a minivan, we've got you covered. Here's to a safe and successful SORC from WinQuest Incorporated, Broken Bow.
When you go to the auto parts store, you want to talk to people who know cars. For Lewis and the crew at CarQuest in Broken Bow, it's not just a job, it's their lifestyle. Did you know they offer fleet and farm accounts that give you significant savings on heavy-duty filters? Swing by and ask about it soon. They continue to offer services like making hydraulic hoses, parts washing, and turning rotors. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturday, 7:30 to 3. CarQuest on West Highway 2 in Broken Bow.
When your car needs fixed, getting it running right is all you should have to worry about. The last thing you need is wondering if the shop you're taking it to is honest and trustworthy. You won't worry about that at all with A1 Auto Repair in Arnold. They offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on non-wear items to give you peace of mind. Ask for a complimentary digital inspection to save headaches down the road. They invite you to the action and fun of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Proud to sponsor coverage, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold.
Proud to support the exciting road racing action of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Mills Hardware in Arnold. They have 350 feet of strong, reliable, consistent Milwaukee tools that they want you to see. 3 aisles of Milwaukee tools that lead the industry in durability and performance. They are proud to be the area's premier Milwaukee connection at Mills Hardware in Arnold. Happy to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Race Week.
Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers is proud to be servicing the Custer County area, and currently land is moving at a high rate of speed. So if you are considering selling your land, now is the time, or get an opinion of what your land might be worth. Call me, John Farley, at 308-530-7854, or check me out at lashleyland.com.
When you need towing or transport, it often comes at a time that you didn't see coming. That's why Trumbull Repair and Towing Service offers it 24/7. So when you're stranded and need emergency roadside assistance, call Dan at 870-2127. Trumbull Repair offers mechanical service, welding, and mobile welding. Trumbull Repair and Towing Service, a half-mile east of Callaway on Highway 40, but serving the entire area. Call 870-2127.
The Callaway District Hospital, along with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, love supporting the community, and they're very excited for the SORC organizers as they get ready for the Open Road Challenge. The Callaway District Hospital and Medical Clinics want to remind you of their public transportation service. Call 308-212-0464 to schedule a ride today. Areas served and destinations requested will be evaluated on a first-come, first-served basis. Enjoy the excitement of SORC from the Callaway District Hospital and the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics.
And again, we come back to Arnold, Nebraska, getting ready for the start of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge 2023. Brent Apperson, Jeremy Shipe alongside. And then later on this afternoon, you'll hear the voice of David J. Burney. He'll be on the other end and kind of giving you information as the competitors return from Dunning to Arnold to wrap up this Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and we'll have that coverage of the race for you on the radio on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com. Again, we have a live video stream of today's race available for you on SandhillsExpress.com, on the Sandhills Express Facebook page and YouTube channel. And with that in mind, Jeremy, we need to say a big thank you to our partners at Viero Wireless, who are a big part in making the video stream possible, because without their internet and without their connection, we can't do that. So certainly a big thank you to them.
Yes, Viero Wireless is what we're utilizing today in order to have this broadcast available to our listeners and our viewers. So thank you very much to Viero Wireless, and we encourage you folks, if you're looking for a solution that is very strong in central Nebraska, often enough when you're with a group of people and they all say, man, I don't have a connection, there's usually that one person that has Viero Wireless that's good to go. So thank you very much to Viero Wireless for being a sponsor, not only on the corporate side with SORC, but for helping us out and providing a connection for us today. Thank you as well to the other corporate sponsors. You see their banners flying over there: Beck's, South Loop Seed, Blueprint Engines, DeKalb and Asgrow, Pinnacle Bank. They've been a corporate sponsor since the very beginning for Sandhills Open Road Challenge action. Thank you as well to Hornaday, Optima, Great Plains Communications, and 444 Racing.
So we are getting close, I think, to the start of this Sandhills Open Road Challenge. They continue to test things out on the road. Of course, there are several checkpoints where people are located so that they can keep eyes on the entire road as people race, making sure that everything is safe and ready to go. And I also believe, usually anyway, they have eyes in the sky even that fly over the top of the road to keep an eye on things, not just that are happening, but keeping an eye on things ahead to make sure that the road continues to stay open and ready to go as the competitors race. Well, we hear the engine of the opening car rev up, and that brought a little cheer from the wonderful folks in attendance here today. We are right here at the start line of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge here in Arnold, Nebraska. And as we have been coming to this event for several years now to broadcast it for you, we have certainly seen the crowd grow at the start line, and it really has turned into a great atmosphere.
Yeah, not only grow, but move. We're about 50 yards forward from where we have been in the past, and this just is a good location. It lends itself really well to people being able to see what's going on, and the stands are right here. Everyone gets a good view, and can't ask for more than that.
So we will start in the 80-mile-an-hour class. The Vintage 85 will follow. Those will be the two classes that get us started here on this Sandhills Open Road Challenge today. And as the opening car comes to the start line, we can tell you that that is Jeremy Jones out of Laramie, Wyoming, in our program listed as a rookie driver, making their first appearance here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Great to have Jeremy Jones with us from Laramie, Wyoming, and he will be the one that I guess sets the stage and gets things going here at this Sandhills Open Road Challenge. As we think back to what happened a year ago and we take a look at some of the class winners from 2022 as we start in this 80-mile-an-hour class, the winners of the 80-mile-an-hour class a year ago were Kirk Sharp and Navigator Court Grooms. They were .854 off perfect time in the 80-mile-an-hour class, and that was your winning effort in the 80-mile-an-hour class. So Jeremy Jones coming to the start line, getting ready to roll as they still have the cone out in front, continuing to check with the stations that are out on the road, watching things and making sure that everything is safe and ready for Jeremy to get us started here at this Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Again, starting in the 80-mile-an-hour class, as we mentioned, the Vintage 85 is showing up as the second class that will take place here today. And then the 90-mile-an-hour class, those will be the first three classes to go off on the competitive raceway here this morning between Arnold and Dunning. Jeremy Shipe is the guy who will kind of bring the cars to the line and do the play-by-play for you. I'll try to follow along and give you a little biography information on some of the participants who are competing here in 2023. As again, Jeremy Jones of Laramie, Wyoming is at the start line, just waiting to get his lights and the okay to take off and begin his opening leg of this Sandhills Open Road Challenge. And it appears as though he is ready to go. There you go. The lights are up. We'll turn it over to Jeremy, and here we go. The Sandhills Open Road Challenge underway in Arnold, Nebraska.
And there goes that red and white 66 Shelby GT350 out on the track and headed on down the road, and we are underway. We go from 1966 to 2017, the Subaru BRZ of John Slack. No Navigator listed for John, but he is the second car of SORC 2023, the second out of 12 in the 80-mile-an-hour class, getting us started today.
John listing his home site as Bennington, Nebraska, works in the IT department of Union Pacific Railroad. John, our second competitor here in this 80-mile-an-hour class to get us started at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
And again, they're watching that timing element over on the far side of the track. They get a 10-second indicator from one of the officials at the starting line, and then they watch as the yellow lights go down, and then they turn green, and that's their indication to start their timer and head off onto the course. That brings to the line car number 63, Maria Schneider and Terry Schneider. You talk about cars that make a lot of appearances at SORC over the years, and we're always looking forward to seeing car number 63, this 1963 Chevy Corvette, deep dark blue.
Schneider's coming to us from Yuling, Nebraska. A lot of Nebraska competitors in this event as the Schneiders are off and running.
Car number 7 next, Kirk Sharp and Court Grooms. 2020 Ferrari 812. Deep dark blue in color, yellow calipers, and of course the yellow Ferrari logo on the side.
And if I'm not mistaken, these are your defending champs, right? In this mile per hour class?
You are right. Kirk Sharp and Court Grooms, they were only 0.854 seconds off of perfect last year. Car number 93, Bill Meyer and Rich Maxwell. This is a 2011 Chevy Caprice, silver in color. Beautiful four-door.
Bill Meyer from Russellville, Missouri, making the journey to Arnold, Nebraska, and the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, listed in the program as a first-timer, rookie driver, getting ready to make his first run here at SORC.
I don't know if you've ever driven a Mini Cooper, but they are a blast to drive, and I know that Peter and Rudy are going to have some really fun out there, a lot of fun out on the course in this red Mini Cooper that comes to the line next, car number 247.
Just underway here at SORC, opening mile-per-hour class, the 80-mile-an-hour class, getting us started here today.
Car 675 comes up next, Vishal Singh and Barry Beckham. 2022 Lexus LC 500 silver. That could probably rival one of the longer cars out here as far as length. That is a slick looking vehicle.
A couple of gentlemen that in our program say kind of have a tie to Arnold, Nebraska. Says they grew up about an hour from Arnold in a small town. As kids they were obsessed with cars, and now today they compete in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Our fifth to last car in the 80-mile-an-hour class is car number 691, a 2009 Dodge Challenger. Dave Fretz and Joni Knight in the driver and passenger seat, respectively.
From Broomfield, Colorado, and I think we're going to see a lot of Colorado participants here today. I know doing the shootout yesterday, we had a lot of vehicles coming from Colorado. Dave from Broomfield, Colorado, off and running here at SORC.
Our first burnout of the day. Car 992 comes next, our first Porsche of the day. Mark Cedardahl and Eric Cedardahl, a white Porsche, up to the starting line.
They're from Lincoln, Nebraska. Says they purchased their Porsche back in 2014, have taken it to the track with the Porsche Club on several occasions, and now they bring it here to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Tell you what, that thing had some acceleration. It got off the line really quick. And we follow up the Porsche with a 2022 Audi Q5. Richard Dayton is listed as the driver. No navigator listed for Richard. Gray SUV Audi up next.
Richard coming all the way from the state of California to compete in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge today.
Up next comes car number 23, our second to last vehicle in the 80-mile-an-hour class this morning. Les Steinoff behind the wheel of a 2022 Dodge Challenger.
Les, another one who comes from the state of California to compete here at SORC, says they're back racing in Arnold for their 14th year. Great to have Les back from the state of California.
And we see all kinds of different methods as far as timekeeping goes. Some people use a stopwatch, some people use 2 stopwatches, some people use a notebook and a piece of paper and time splits. We see it all. Bill Schneider, Kendra Duncan, they're up next in car 32, as you can likely hear if you're listening to the radio broadcast, a 2004 Pontiac NASCAR.
And we'll just let you enjoy the sound of Bill Schneider as he takes off. Bill is from Malcolm, Nebraska, says he's been racing in SORC for 6 years.
That, just like that, is the end of the 80-mile-an-hour class. They are all out and on the track. Again, tech speed, the maximum speed they can go in trying to average 80 miles an hour is 120 miles an hour. That will be the same case tech speed-wise for the Vintage 85 class. Now, Vintage class, they have restrictions on the changes they can make to their vehicle, but also the timekeeping equipment they can use. They can only use a traditional stopwatch and a notebook and piece of paper. They can't use any modern equipment as a part of the Vintage class. So an extra challenge.
And that is our second racing class of the day, as the 80-mile-an-hour class entries are out on the track at this time. Again, this has 2 legs to it, the race does, of course. It'll go from Arnold up to near Dunning and then turn around and make the return journey, and then both of those legs and how they perform in them will be calculated in to their time and speed, and we'll find out the winners of this road challenge coming up later on today.
We're about 40 seconds away from the Vintage 85 class being able to start. We look back at last year, Cy and Jay Nightingale were .055 off of a perfect time. So tough competition always brought in each of these classes. I think the closest time I saw from last year was .014 off perfect. I mean, you're getting down into the thousandths, pretty close. You're doing pretty good. Michael Metzger and Michaela Medina out there in this Honda Civic SI to start the Vintage 85 class.
And they come to us from just down the road a ways in Sutherland, Nebraska.
Yes, the front wheels on that Civic spinning out, and they are out on the course. Keith Bisson and Pat Garaki up next in car number 83. This is a 1983 Chevy Camaro.
Keith coming to us from the state of Iowa. Good to have Keith back at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Had some big success in the half-mile shootout a year ago, where he finished in 3rd place, averaging speeds of 94.2 miles per hour, and now Keith off and running here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
That brings our 3rd of 6 cars to the line for the Vintage 85 class. Ethan Budke and Josh Budke, the driver and navigator respectively, in this Toyota MR2 built in 1992.
A familiar last name from the North Platte area as they come to compete in SORC, showing in the program that this is their first experience here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Now, I don't believe this is a car we've seen so far at the previous 2 events, which is common. Every now and then we have a car that doesn't compete in the shootout or the loop-to-loop, but they come and hang out at the SORC and get their challenge on this course. This is a 1969 Datsun 510. Isaac Boyce and Thomas Mudertais driving this.
Isaac from Kearney, Nebraska, competing here in SORC.
Just shows the variety: Toyotas, Chevys, Hondas, Datsuns, Dodges, Ferraris, Mini Coopers. And we go to a Chevy Corvette next. It's a 1986. Brent Skiles and Jim Deering in this 974 car. Soft top, but the top is up for the high speeds they're about to hit.
Brent from Holdridge, Nebraska, says their mission today to concur the 85 vintage class, hang out with friends and fellow racers, and enjoy the people and scenery of Arnold.
Car 585 is up next. Cy Nightingale and Jay Nightingale. These were the winners last year. 0.055 seconds off of perfect in the 2022 Vintage 85 in their 1968 Camaro.
Jay Nightingale off and running from Sheridan, Colorado. Says after competing in 2022 as a rookie, they were hooked, and now they're back again for another year of racing.
They were rookies and won it? No wonder they got hooked.
Yeah.
Wow. The 90-mile-an-hour class is up next. The cone comes out as they put a little bit more space between the 85 vintage and the 90-mile-an-hour class. Same tech speeds, so not a ton of time going to be put between these cars. The 90-mile-an-hour class is the largest class. If I flip over here, it is, in fact, the largest class of the day. 28 entries in the 90-mile-an-hour class. And the 302 car of Chad Smith and Donna Smith, 2013 Ford Mustang, is going to be the one getting it started for us.
Well, again, Mother Nature certainly obliging here this morning. We know that weather is always something that I think everybody probably loses some sleepless nights over when you start to look on the calendar and this event gets close. You just never know what the weather's going to do. But what 3 beautiful days they've had for racing competition, and just a gorgeous morning for this event here in Arnold, Nebraska today.
I'm just wondering what the over-under is on how soon I'm going to have to see Grant hop up and make a camera adjustment as the sun comes out. Things are getting pretty darn bright, and it offers its own challenges, the sun does, as it gets up above our head, changes kind of the exposure on the cameras. So we'll keep a close eye on that for all of you folks checking out the video stream today. Again, car 302 looks like maybe 15 seconds away, maybe 45. I've got to get familiar with this timing again. The cone is still out there, so I'm going to guess 45 seconds.
In our program, showing Chad Smith from Alliance, Nebraska, coming back to experience all of the SORC activities. Gives a shout out to the SORC and Loop to Loop board members for putting on a great and wonderful event each and every year.
Again, for those of you that are watching on the video stream, feel free to cheer in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. We always are super interested in hearing and seeing your comments. Chad and Donna get the green light, and they're off and running. Love the sound of those Mustangs. Here comes car number 8, the all-black car. We're familiar with this one. It's John Schmidt and Julio Pinedo in the 1990 Chevy Corvette, all black with that 8-ball number 8 on the side.
John from Lincoln, Nebraska, giving a shout out like so many of our drivers do to the board of directors for keeping this race going. Says thank you to the volunteers and sponsors for their support of this great event.
That brings another all-black car to the line now, a 2007 Porsche. Adam Rogers and Jeff Tholson in that all-black 07 Porsche.
Says here that Jeff and Adam have been coming to SORC for over 10 years. They circle the date every year. For them, they say it's like Christmas in August. Adam Rogers out of Durango, Colorado, making the journey to Arnold today.
Next comes a Tesla. We're going to try something. We always let you folks listen to the loud cars because you can't hear over the. We're going to let you listen to this Tesla as it takes off and see if you can hear anything. This is Lyra Holt and Nick Haltman in a 2021 Tesla S. This thing was cooking at the shootout yesterday.
It was, yes. Lyra Holt out of Overland Park, Kansas. And there they
went. Did you hear it, folks? And that always gets a few laughs out of the crowd. It's amazing how quickly it gets off the line without any sound at all. Jim Stainer and Sharon Stainer up next, the 1996 Mazda Miata. This one's all black as well. It's got all of the sponsor logos on the side. Not much room in the cab there. This is a cool looking car.
Listed in our program as another rookie driver, Jim Stainer from Jonesboro, Arkansas. Off and running for his first experience of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Man, I am not overly familiar with Miatas, but that thing has got to be engine swapped, or they've got more of a punch when you open up the exhaust on them than I thought they had. Car 68, Linda Kruger and Rick Kruger up next in a 2017 Ford Mustang. It's red. And I'm venturing to guess that these folks are from Kansas.
Lyons, Kansas is what's listed in our program. They have the Kansas City Chiefs logo on the side of their door. So I'm guessing that they have been enjoying the last several years with the way the Chiefs have been performing.
Up next comes car number 76. It's Barry White and Michelle White in a 2021 Audi TT-RS. Love the color of this car. It's a deep gray.
Some more Kansas drivers. Barry and Michelle listed in our program from Meriden, Kansas. Off and running.
Up next comes car number 80. This is our next 2019 Dodge Challenger. Wayne Langenfeld and Adam Akers in this 2019 Dodge Challenger, our next all-black vehicle. Even the calipers are black. I use all black loosely, but this one is truly all blacked out.
Listed in our program as another rookie driver, so first-year participants from the state of Texas.
I love these mid-engine Corvettes. When Chevrolet changed the look of the Corvettes, it just looks so much less like a Corvette and like a Ferrari, like a supercar. This is Robert McCullough in a 2023 Chevy Corvette. Engine sitting behind him, ready to go down the track.
Robert out of Lincoln, Nebraska, says hi to Western Nebraska. Always enjoy making the fun August trip to the Sandhills.
Car 450 up next. Carrie Burns in a 2001 Porsche. Black vehicle, silver wheels. The 450 in white across the driver door and the passenger door.
Carrie from Columbus, Nebraska, says he's a father of 2 awesome boys, 15 and 12, husband to a wonderful wife who, quote, puts up with my obsessive love affair with all things mechanical.
Hey, that's all we can ask for, right? Car 111 comes up next. This is Chris Edwards, a 2015 Ford Mustang. It's blue, silver wheels, ready to go out in this 90-mile-an-hour class as we are 11 cars in with him.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that news of this race has made it to the state of Colorado because we have another rookie driver from that state. That is Chris Edwards, out and running in car number 111.
Car 308 up next. It's Michael Tehan and Matt Tehan. 2011 Chevy Corvette coming to us from Halsey. It's listed as a Corvette. That's definitely a Camaro, though. Car 308 coming to us from Halsey.
Yeah, the Tehan boys back with us. Of course, they competed in the loop-to-loop race earlier in the week, and now here to compete in SORC as they are off and running.
Car 113 to the starting line next. Brock Anderson and Britt Anderson in a 2012 Chevy Corvette are 13th of 28 cars here in the 90-mile-an-hour class, won by Jessica Morton last year in 2022.
Anderson's coming to us from Gothenburg, Nebraska, not too far away, making the short little trip here to Arnold to compete in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
And they're off and running. Car 717 up next. 2001 Ford Mustang. Kelly Hasenauer and Matt Hasenauer in a pewter colored Shelby Mustang.
Out of North Platte, Nebraska. Entered SORC last year, had a great time back this year. And that's usually what happens with these competitors. You get a taste of this event one year and it gets into your blood. And you keep wanting to return.
Here comes another mid-engine Chevy Corvette, this one from 2021. Randy Bauer and Alex Bauer in this orange Chevy Corvette. Black with a little bit of silver around the outside on the wheels, black accents on the side.
Randy Bauer from McCook, Nebraska. I think Jeremy said Alex, right, is the navigator listed on the sheet. Alex from Lincoln, Nebraska. Yes. 14th year competing in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Car 131 to the starting line next. Craig Kerr, Natalie Kerr in a 2019 Dodge Challenger. Again, average speed they're shooting for is 90. Tech speed, or the maximum speed they can travel to accomplish that, is 120 miles an hour.
4th time coming to this SORC event for the Kerrs out of Eagle, Nebraska.
Car 164 up next. Gotten used to seeing this car at SORC year after year. It's Tim Winker and David Sanderson driving a 2017 Ford Fiesta. Color is listed as magnetic, and I think that's a good description.
David's hometown listed in our program as Glidden, Iowa. Says Tim Winker is of Saginaw, Michigan. And they come back together to compete in SORC.
Car 173, our next Camaro coming up to the line. Car 173, Samer Damer and Debbie Damer, 2018 Chevy Camaro.
Samer, a young engineer and business leader, works in and around the automotive industry. So as you can imagine, very excited to be a part of this Sandhills Open Road Challenge again this year.
And they get the green light, and off they go. Car 265 is our next Tesla. This is a 2018 Tesla Model 3, driven by Tom Starr. Ray Boston is the navigator for Tom.
And as we read through our program, Tom, kind of coming back to his home area, says he grew up in the Sandhills, worked the summers on a ranch through high school. Tom Starr, now listed out of Lincoln, Nebraska, coming here, making his first appearance to our according to our program here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Car 279 comes up next. This is a 2019 Chevy Camaro. Carly Bates, the driver. No navigator listed today. Beautiful white Camaro.
Carly from Eagle Mountain, Utah. An open road racing enthusiast. And there goes Carly Bates, off and running here at SORC.
Car 280, our 21st of 28 vehicles in the 90-mile-an-hour class. Car 280 is Alan Kortmeyer and Gary Kortmeyer, a 2005 Nissan 350Z. I believe this is our first Nissan of the day.
Alan from Seward, Nebraska, says he came here to watch with Todd Gransky in 05 and 06. And again, you come here, even if you just experience his event as a spectator, you want to compete in it. And that's what Alan Kortmeyer out of Seward, Nebraska is doing today.
Car 313 up next. I love 1979 Camaros. Just such cool body lines. This is a beautiful one, driven by James Luby. Carl Luby is the navigator in this 79 Chevy Camaro, red in color.
James Luby from Beaver Crossing, Nebraska.
And they're off on the track and running as truck number 316 comes up. This is a 2001 Chevy S10. Ron Schneider and Mitch Hendricks in the cab in this pewter S10.
Ron listed in our program from Lincoln, Nebraska, another one of our competitors from the capital city.
And the green light is up. And he lays some rubber on the way off the starting line as well as car 363 comes up. Mike Rasmussen, 2016 Volvo S60R. It's almost such a tall sedan that it almost looks like an SUV of types. Cool looking car.
Mike Rasmussen from Plattsmouth, Nebraska.
Four cars behind him, and those would be the final four cars of this 90-mile-an-hour class as Ken Hodges and Les Peterson come to the line in their 2007 Chevy Corvette. Up next,
Ken Hodges from Julesburg, Colorado, says it's their 17th year of participating. They're farmers from the Julesburg, Colorado area, have a love for fast Corvettes, and now they get to go fast here at this Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
And the Z06 is off and on the course. That brings another Chevy to the line. This time around, we're looking at a 2000 Chevy Camaro SS. This is Brett Korth and John Fissler in this Camaro.
Brett Korth from Lincoln, Nebraska. Our notes show that he finished second in his mile-per-hour class a year ago. So good success in 2022. We'll see what Brett can do here in 2023.
That brings up truck number 720. Brad Gorda and Matt Voss coming to the starting line next in their 2002 GMC Sonoma, and you know they're there. You can hear the rumble.
And they got Blue Mule Racing there on the side of the truck. Matt coming to us from the state of Iowa. And get ready. He's about ready to make a little bit of noise for the spectators here at the start line.
Car 888 is the last car in the 90-mile-an-hour class. Scott Minton and Brock Minton in the 2014 Chevy Corvette. Gray, black wheels, red calipers. 888 on the side. They've run SORC before. I see that that little sticker on the side that shows the course that says SORC right up there on the pillar.
Scott from Overland Park, Kansas, says Brock the Navigator is his son, so a father-son team here at SORC. And you know, we talk about things that make SORC special. It's just the family atmosphere. You have family members that compete in the event, and when you come to Arnold, everybody's just one big family when it comes to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Great to have father and son with us racing from Overland Park, Kansas today.
And Scott and Brock are out on the course, and that does it for the 90-mile-an-hour class. And again, as we have all the cars out on the course, we'll continue to monitor things to let you know when those cars come in on the other side. We head to the 90 Extreme class. Last year, Daniel and Shane Landis won this one with a time of 37 minutes, 56.667 seconds. Extreme 90 class, of course, means you're trying to go 90 miles an hour as much as possible. Your tech speed is the same as your target. And Robbie Smith and Colby Smith are off just like that.
Yeah, Robbie, local person, of course, Arnold, Nebraska. Some of you may have had the opportunity to hear the interview that our own David J. Burney did with Robbie and Shelley Smith, who are so instrumental with this event being in Arnold, Nebraska. They open up their place and facility just on the edge of Arnold for the tech checks. And Robbie's had great success in this race, and we wish him best again this year.
There goes Barry Conkin and Steve Folsom, a 2020 Chevy Corvette, wearing number 85 on the side. A beautiful blue color out on the course as car number 2 in the 90 Extreme.
Car number 866, Trenton Zesson of Malcolm, Nebraska. And as you can tell, they just took off.
66 Chevy Nova, Trenton Zesson and Jared Halverson. Clint McKenzie up next. This is a green 2007 Dodge Charger wearing number 19 on the side, black accents. All of the 80-mile-an-hour class is in, by the way, hearing that report from the other end.
Clint McKenzie of Crete, Nebraska.
Bob Bixler Jr. up next. No navigator for Bob today. Going to do it alone in his 1994 Ford Mustang, yellow in color.
Bob, another one of our competitors from the capital city here in Nebraska of Lincoln, says he loves the event. It's a great place to test his building, mechanical, and driving skills. People are wonderful, and he always feels the need for speed.
Yes. That quote has to make it in the book at least once each year. This will be the last car of the 90 Extreme class. Again, the target speed average is the same as the tech speed. So you're basically trying to go 90 miles an hour as much as possible in order to get a perfect time. Time last year was 37:56.667. That got the win for Daniel and Shane Landis. That brings us to our second largest class. The cone will come out as we get ready for the 95-mile-an-hour class. 27 vehicles in this class. 95-mile-an-hour average is the target. Tech speed goes back up to 120 miles an hour. So on the straights, going to be shooting for 120 because on those 90-degree turns and those S-curves, you're going to be going down in speed quite a bit. So you got to get that speed back up to 120 to average 95.
And it looks like we're going to start this 95-mile-an-hour class with last year's winner in the 95 class, Mike McCullough, car number 91. Mike of Lincoln, Nebraska, was your winner in the 95-mile-an-hour class a year ago.
And he is navigating for Zach this year.
Oh, okay.
So they've flipped around, and they're going to see if they can do it, flip the other direction this year in this 2007 Audi RS4. Wouldn't that be cool?
Showing his time, .039, below perfect from last year to win that 95-mile-an-hour class.
Lined up behind them, the rest of the 95-mile-an-hour class. Again, this is car number 1 of 27 in the class. As they wait for that cone to be moved, a little bit more time being put in between this class and the one previous to it. The tech speed for the 90 Extreme class is 90. And obviously this 95-mile-an-hour class going to be topping out at 120 miles an hour. So to avoid a situation where the car behind catches the car in front, got to wait a little bit longer. So while we have that opportunity real quick, want to thank again our sponsors. Radio sponsors include CarQuest of Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, as well as Mills Hardware in Arnold. Thank you as well to Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, all gold sponsors of our broadcast. Silver sponsors include Trumbo Repair and Towing, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Reed's Food Center, Gateway Motors, Trotter Service Broken Bow, Sandhills Corral, Anderson Auto Tech, The Smoke Shack, and Wenquist Incorporated.
I just happened to look behind me, Jeremy, and my goodness, has the crowd continued to fill in. Wow, it really has become a spectators event over the years, as a lot of people show up to take a look at these cars as they come to the start line and start their journey.
Yeah, it was empty, obviously, when we were setting up this morning, and we had maybe about a quarter of that amount of people when things first started this morning, but it's essentially filled in. People are having to strategize on where they're going to sit in the stands, so that's great. Car number 91 off on the track and starting our 95-mile-an-hour class here this morning. That brings up car number 43, Daniel Leimbach and Deborah Leimbach, 2015 Chevy Corvette. And I should toss this in there, folks. I'm apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. This is just a general overarching apology to all of the drivers that are listening in the car. I know the last thing you want when you're going out, getting ready to go 120 miles an hour, is for someone to mispronounce your name. My last name is Shipe. I'm used to it, and I hope you can accept my apology.
That was Daniel Leimbach, listed in our program out of the state of Texas, getting us started in this mile-per-hour class.
Jason Hornaday and Todd Vance up next. 2022 Cadillac CT5 Blackwing. It's gray in color.
Jason from Grand Island, Nebraska, says it's a yearly tradition now for Jason and Todd to take a break from the shooting industry that they're both in and go to the Sandhills to have fun with a bunch of friends and fast cars.
Fourth car in the 95-mile-an-hour class is Rodney Bilderback. No navigator for Rodney in his 1991 Acura NSX.
Rodney, listed in the program from Bennington, Nebraska, participated in 2018 and 2019, back here in 2023.
Car number 69, Zach Hagler and Heather Hagler in a 2018 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. I believe this is the one I heard over the loudspeaker at the shootout yesterday that they said is running on E85. Very cool.
Hagler's from right here in Arnold, Nebraska, been heavily involved in, well, really all of the activities that take place in this Arnold community. Certainly have been heavily involved in the happenings here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and today they compete in it.
You can kind of smell that E85 when they took off as car 712 comes up. Sid Stewart, Steve Swisher, the navigator. This is a 2011 Ford Mustang GT350.
Sid from McCook, Nebraska, says it's always nice to rekindle old friendships and to make new ones here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Car 20 is up next. Tommy Dale Vines, Marcia Graves with him, or Marcia Graves. That's a first name that trips me up. It's usually the last names. 2007 Chevy Corvette, and we're familiar with Tommy's name. Has some great success over the years at these events.
Tommy from Eagle Butte, South Dakota. Always counts down the days until the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Car number 45 to the starting line, Greg Kruger, a 2000 Ford Mustang, all black in color with the chrome wheels.
Greg, listed in our program from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, also listed as a first-timer, another rookie driver making their first appearance here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Greg says he always wanted to be a race car driver as a kid. Well, today he becomes one.
Car number 140 up next, our next mid-engine Chevy Corvette. This one's a 2022. Jim Webster is the driver. Navigator is Blue Offit. This is a gray Corvette.
Jim, one of our visitors and competitors from up north, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Car 169 is up next. Gus Brown, the driver, Liam Brown, the navigator, in a 2010 Chevy Camaro, orange in color. Again, target average speed is 95 miles an hour. Tech or maximum speed to achieve that is 120 miles an hour.
According to the program, looks like another father-son team competing here in SORC out of the state of Colorado.
Car number 40 is up next. Darren Brewer and Sean Robinson, a 2017 Lamborghini. Blue in color, white accents down the side, all black wheels. Really cool car to see compete in the shootout yesterday.
Darren, a Nebraska native, resides in Gretna, Nebraska.
Car 186 comes up next. Brent Culp and Heidi Culp. This is a 2006 Dodge Magnum. Remember those commercials? Yeah, it's got a Hemi.
Yes.
It does, in fact, have a Hemi. It's going to get moving here in a sec.
Brent from right here in Arnold, Nebraska, actually just down the road a little bit on this road that the cars line up to take off and race here at SORC. Brent been a gearhead all of his life and now competing here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Car 589 up next. It's an all-red Camaro with black accents. Alan Edmiston and Leslie Edmiston in this 2018 Camaro.
And according to our program, some more first-timers here at SORC coming out of the state of Colorado, Longmont, Colorado.
Car 486 comes to the line next. Barry Lohman and Robert Diedrich. The 2005 Cadillac CTS-V, red in color here in the 95-mile-an-hour class.
More competitors coming up from the state of Texas to compete here today. Barry Lohman, known as quite the character throughout the world of open road racing, it says. The Kentuckian turned Texan can often be found holding court amongst peers, sporting a big old smile on his face, and sharing tales of former racing glory.
Car 911 is up next. Jason Walsh and Chris Rutten, a 2015 Corvette. Normally see them driving a Viper. They trade that in for a color that's the same, but a vehicle that's different.
Jason from Kearney, Nebraska, saying, like many of our competitors today, thank you to volunteers and organizers for a great week of reunions and driving thrills.
Here comes car number 943, Quentin Dolson and Pat Shinnick, in 1982 Ford Mustang.
More competitors coming down from Canada to join us here at SORC. Quentin listed as a rookie driver, making his first appearance here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Well, look at the turbos hanging out of the hood of this next vehicle. Car 84, driven by Dave Wallace. Matt Allen is the navigator, a 1969 Chevy Camaro. It has got some boost. Gets the turbos wound up and off they go as car 364 comes up next. Our 18th out of 27 cars in the 95-mile-an-hour class. And it's a familiar name, Ken Reese.
Ken from North Las Vegas, Nevada. Retired USAF pilot. Flew helicopters to fighters. Also spent time as a high school teacher, teaching math, science, and aviation studies.
Car 101 comes up next. William Harvey is the driver. Andrew Harvey is the navigator. This is a 2006 Saturn Ion Redline. And of course, it's red in color.
Harvey's coming to us from Albuquerque, New Mexico. for me personally, that's one of the fun aspects of this event, just from where everybody comes from, near and far, to compete.
This is car 777, and I can tell why we had a hard time seeing the number when they were in the shootout. It's hiding right up there on the front fender. It almost kind of looks like part of the design from this angle. Connor Long and Leah Axcommit, 2002 Chevy Corvette up next, the 20th car in the class.
Connor from Broomfield, Colorado, in our program listed as another one of our first-year participants.
Roger Titchener up next. This is a 2006 BMW convertible. It's got the top up for competition here today. Going to be starting here very shortly.
Roger from Alma, Nebraska, in our program, another one of our competitors listed as a rookie driver. Says he's not a Nebraska native, but has lived in this state longer than any other. Great to have you here, Roger, making an appearance here at SORC.
And in 10 seconds, Roger will be out on the course. Again, winner in this class last year was Mike McCullough and Zach Rustad. 0.039 seconds off of perfect last year to win it. Car 455, Jessica Morton, here in the 95-mile-an-hour class.
Jessica was your winner in the 90-mile-an-hour class a year ago.
This is a 2011 Chevy Corvette. Black rose. It does have kind of a red tinge to it. Catches you as red and kind of a more maroon at some angles and black at others.
Jessica listed from Spanish Springs, Nevada.
Debbie Beam driving. Jared Beam navigating in this 2012 Camaro that comes up next, car 485 in the 95-mile-an-hour class.
Topeka, Kansas is where they come from. Excited to be back in Arnold for the 10th year for them for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
And there they go. 4 cars left in the 95-mile-an-hour class. That brings up car 511, also a Camaro, 4 years newer. It's a 2016. Alan Golden and Mark Golden in their blue Camaro.
Alan listed from Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. 5th year of racing at SORC. 6th year of participating if you include volunteering. So Alan's certainly familiar with the happenings here at SORC, and now taking off on his opening run today.
Car 605 to the line next. Jack Schmidt, the driver. Jake Schmidt is the navigator. For a second there, I thought Jack was driving and navigating, but it's Jack and Jake in the 2004 Cadillac CTS-V.
Says in the program, 2nd year son Jake and dad Jack have competed in SORC, as well as the loop-to-loop and shootout. And there they go, out of Willow Lake, South Dakota.
Next Mustang is a Shelby Mustangs, car 662, Tom Kudnra, 2014 Ford Mustang convertible up next.
Tom says 2nd time competing at SORC. In the program it says, hope to do better this year, knowing what to expect, and that does help. Once you've been out on this course and get a better understanding of kind of what is needed and just get a feel for the event, it can really make a difference. So we'll see how Tom does out of Omaha, Nebraska in his 2nd time competing here at SORC.
All vintage 85-mile-an-hour class vehicles are in, by the way. That text came in shortly after the 80-mile-an-hour class came in here earlier this morning. Car 971, our last car of the 95-mile-an-hour class. Michael Schultz and Garrett Moore in their 2003 Ford Mustang.
Michael from Raymond, Nebraska. Off and running.
That brings to us car number 5. 16 cars in the 100-mile-an-hour class. And I would venture to guess that we're going to have a pretty decent break here between these two classes. Tech speed here is 140 miles an hour. Wayne Hora and Megan Evanson will kick us off in their 1990 Chevy Corvette. So I think we can go ahead and just take a 60-second break, and we'll come back with the beginning of the 100-mile-an-hour class after this.
Searching for a vehicle you can depend on, it helps to shop where you have a large variety to choose from. At Gateway Motors, their lots have cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to check out and test drive. Having a lot of vehicles on their lot means it will be easier for them to find you the right one. Don't forget, whether new or pre-owned, vehicles with less than 100,000 miles come with warranty forever. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge action. Gateway Motors in Broken Bow.
Trotter Service is your hometown auto repair and tire shop. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Whether it's a new battery, brakes, alignment, or any other repair, they have the auto repair specialist to get it done right for all your vehicles. Remember, they offer bulk oil and fuel delivery and on-the-farm tire service, too. Enjoy the SORC racing action. Brought to your radio in part by Trotter Service in Broken Bow.
You are listening to live coverage of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge on KBBN 95.3 FM. And we'll come back with more racing after these words on the Thunderbird KBBN.
Excited, thrilled, exhilarated, delighted. They're all the above at the Sandhills Corral in Thetford. They're excited to announce a new menu that includes delicious tender steaks that will make your taste buds happier than ever before. Drink specials are always changing too, and make sure you stop by during their new hours, Monday to Thursday, 11 to 10, and Fridays and Saturdays from 11 until 1 a.m. If you haven't stopped in a while, you owe it to yourself to do so. Bring that SORC road racing car to the Sandhills Corral in Thetford.
And car number 1 in the 100-mile-an-hour class, Wayne and Megan out on the course in their 1990 Chevy Corvette. That brings to us car number 44, Brian Kirk, the driver. Navigator is Tom Kirk. This is a 2004 Porsche GT3. It's all white, silver wheels, yellow calipers, beautiful car. Second car in the 100-mile-an-hour class.
Tom listed in our program from Lincoln, Nebraska, a retired Chrysler dealer from Lincoln.
Car 59 comes up next. It's all black with chrome wheels. Kevin Hanshoe and Rick Kane, a 2003 Chevy Corvette.
Kevin from Wichita, Kansas, says they're so happy to be attending the Sandhills Open Road Challenge for their 4th year. They look forward to the event each and every year now.
That brings to the line car number 88, Daniel Metzger Jr. and Jeffrey Howard, a 2005 Mercury Grand Marquis. He's doing some reading on this car. It's got a lot going on underneath of it, some suspension changes. It's got a little bit wider stance for some better cornering.
Daniel Metzger from North Platte, Nebraska, 3rd year competing, 2nd year driving here at SORC.
Here comes car number 314, Kevin Duffy, Scott LaPointe navigating for him. This is a 1964 Chevy Chevelle. Speaking of cars that have modifications underneath of them, I love that they kept the patina on this car, original look to it, but all race ready underneath.
5th year for Scott and Kevin here at SORC. Scott LaPointe from Belle Plaine, Minnesota.
Back-to-back text messages coming in from Joan and Dave on the other end. All 90-mile-an-hour class are in, and all 90 extreme are in back-to-back. Scott Mann up next in car 120, a 2007 Chevy Corvette. As black can get everywhere. Beautiful car. Again, thank you to all the corporate sponsors on behalf of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Committee and competitors. They make everything possible, and you see their flags flying in some of the camera shots here today. And the SORC Committee cannot thank them enough for all that they do and contribute. John Shuda up next, a 2001 Chevy Corvette. This one's red. It's got the chrome and black wheels, ready to go out in this 100-mile-an-hour class.
John from the state of Illinois 7th year at Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Here comes our next truck entry. Joe Hackney and Tyler Hackney. Truck 606, a 2000 Chevy Silverado, pewter in color.
Joe from Sabetha, Kansas. Back for his second run at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Our 9th car of the class is Tracy Klinkenbeard, a 2002 Chevy Corvette. Another recognizable name here at SORC 2023.
Tracy Klinkenbeard, another one of our Texas competitors.
This next one's got a lot of cam under the hood. It's Jeremy Fox. Good choice on cam there, Jeremy. I like the lope. It's a 2017 Chevy Corvette, blue in color, black wheels up next. Red fender stripes on the front.
Jeremy, another one of our competitors coming from Lincoln, Nebraska. Listed in the program as a rookie driver, so first opportunity to experience what SORC is all about.
Car 321 up next. Jim Miller driving. Jaylee John is navigating. 2005 Dodge Viper red with the black soft top.
Jim from North Platte, Nebraska, 6th time running in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Gets the green light and is off. That brings our next Dodge to the line. 2 Dodges in a row. We go from Viper to Charger, a 2014 Charger. Tim Zimmerman and Cecilia Zimmerman in this gray Charger.
Making the long trip from Sandy, Utah to be here today to compete in SORC.
They give the head nod to Brock, and they're ready to go off here in the next couple seconds. Car 690 up next. This is the 1966 Chevy Corvair driven by Bob Brownell, and Rick Hagee is the navigator. Really cool seeing this one fly down the road in the shootout yesterday.
Bob Brownell from Laramie, Wyoming.
The countdown is on.
Bob saying in his bio in our program, been a gearhead and a speed guy all of his life. Well, you are right in good company today, Bob. Thanks for being here.
Coming up next is Claire Kurz and Matt Kurz. Car 816, a maroon 2016 Chevy Corvette, chrome wheels.
Palmer, Nebraska is where they come from. 7th year competing at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Says it's a thrill to race through the Sandhills on the twisty roads and the challenging course.
Car 724 is up next. Dustin Gronseth and Shanda Gronseth, the 1994 Mazda Miata. And we appear to have not many cars waiting after car 949, which is coming up right now. And I just heard one of the one of the SORC officials say, "Well, this isn't where there's supposed to be a break," and they immediately ran up the road to see what the holdup is. So Levi Durnall coming up next with Michael Durnall navigating. 2019 Chevy Corvette, gray in color, the chrome wheels.
Another father-son team competing here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge out of Meade, Nebraska.
And we've got some fast cars coming up. The 125-mile-an-hour class is next. Tech speed is 150. They're looking to average, of course, 125 miles an hour. There are 5 cars in that class. And as we kind of wait for those cars to come up, we'll take this opportunity to take a break and hear from some of our sponsors on the radio side. We'll hear it on the video as well. Back after this with more SORC 2023 action.
At Reed's Food Center in Arnold, they're proud to have served the Arnold community for over 40 years. They remain committed to providing outstanding customer service to everyone who comes through their doors. They're proud to keep local dollars in Arnold, offer the best selections at low prices, and embody small-town friendliness in everything they do. From catering, custom meat cutting, seasoning and tying roasts, to carrying your groceries to your car. Reed's Food Center in Arnold. Like their Facebook page or visit reedsfoodcenter.com.
Anderson Auto Tech is ready to serve you Monday to Friday, 8 to 6, West Highway 2, Broken Bow, just off the curve. Dave and his crew pride themselves on doing the work you need done right while being honest and showing care for your vehicle. For personalized small-town service you won't find anywhere else, head to Anderson Auto Tech. With technology and custom fabricating at their fingertips, they can handle what other shops can't. Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow.
The Smoke Shack in Broken Bow invites you to attend Smoke and Spirits, a whiskey and cigar event at Kincaidor Brewing Company in Broken Bow. Friday night, August 18th at 6 p.m., join master whiskey taster Kip Gibbons as he walks you through Sideshow Spirits products and processes. A ticket of $35 gets you 2 cigars from the Smoke Shack, a tasting glass to take home, and a flight of 5 Sideshow Spirit products and a swag bag. Get your tickets on evenbright.com. Friday night, the 18th, at Kincaidor Brewing in Broken Bow. Smoke and Spirits with the Smoke Shack and Sideshow Spirits.
Racers know that performance cars take a lot of TLC. To run efficiently, they need clean oil maintained by a quality filter. That's why so many drivers trust Napa Gold filters. You may not drive a Corvette at speeds averaging 120 miles an hour, but your family truckster still needs the same care to get your kids to school. Lucky for you, WinQuest is having their fall filter sale September 5th through the 16th. Whether you drive a Mustang or a minivan, we've got you covered. Here's to a safe and successful SORC from WinQuest Incorporated, Broken Bow.
When you go to the auto parts store, you want to talk to people who know cars. For Lewis and the crew at CarQuest in Broken Bow, it's not just a job, it's their lifestyle. Did you know they offer fleet and farm accounts that give you significant savings on heavy-duty filters? Swing by and ask about it soon. They continue to offer services like making hydraulic hoses, parts washing, and turning rotors. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturday, 7:30 to 3. CarQuest on West Highway 2 in Broken Bow.
When your car needs fixed, getting it running right is all you should have to worry about. The last thing you need is wondering if the shop you're taking it to is honest and trustworthy. You won't worry about that at all with A1 Auto Repair in Arnold. They offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on non-wear items to give you peace of mind. Ask for a complimentary digital inspection to save headaches down the road. They invite you to the action and fun of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Proud to sponsor coverage, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold.
Proud to support the exciting road racing action of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Mills Hardware in Arnold. They have 350 feet of strong, reliable, consistent Milwaukee tools that they want you to see. 3 aisles of Milwaukee tools that lead the industry in durability and performance. They are proud to be the area's premier Milwaukee connection at Mills Hardware in Arnold. Happy to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Race Week.
Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers is proud to be servicing the Custer County area, and currently land is moving at a high rate of speed. So if you are considering selling your land, now is the time, or get an opinion of what your land might be worth. Call me, John Farley, at 308-530-7854, or check me out at lashleyland.com.
And we come back live to Arnold, Nebraska. Brent Apperson and Jeremy Shipe with you. Well, we have come upon a break, I guess is the best way to describe it, here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Several of our competitors are off on the course. Several of the mile-per-hour classes that got the day started have now all been completed for their opening run and have arrived safely at the other end. And now we're just waiting for more cars to come up to the starting line. Not really sure as to what is causing the delay, Jeremy, but we should hopefully have more racing coming here shortly.
Yeah, and this does not have the looks of a delay that is being caused by something out on the course. It's a delay of there not being more vehicles up to the front, and I did hear one of the SORC committee members say, well, this isn't supposed to be a break, so that leads me to believe that maybe we have a pause up here at the starting line that is causing this. Right now we are supposed to be having the 125-mile-an-hour class start. Brian Chandler and Shane Kuhl in their 2009 Chevy Corvette scheduled to come to the starting line. They are not here, and I'm looking back, even all the way back at the Blueprint Engines tent, I maybe see the front of that car over on the side. So right now that car not making its way forward, and we'll just kind of see and continue to wait for that car to move forward, or if there's maybe some kind of mechanical delay or even a safety delay. Sometimes we see some delays there, something not within spec or something taking a little bit longer to get those drivers in there with the proper safety equipment hooked up and ready to go. So we'll just kind of wait and see what's going on and wait for this delay to kind of move itself forward.
Well, during the last couple of days, our friend Dave Burney, who will be talking to you later on the radio on KBBN FM and describing some of the action as the competitors make their return trip to Arnold on the second leg of the race. Dave had the opportunity to visit with some of our competitors here in the last couple of days, and I was about to say that we will maybe play one of those interviews for you coming up, but looks like
tire inspections happening, and that car is getting ready to come up here.
So we'll just hold off here for just a second. Looks like the car will make its way all the way up to the start line, and now we've got movement. So we will keep it here live for the moment as we get ready to send some more competitors out on the course.
2009 Chevy Corvette, again, Brian Chandler driving, Shane Kuhl, the navigator, car number 3 to the line. Coming up right behind them, Dave Smith and Joe Bob Atkins in their 2017 Chevy Corvette. Those are the first two cars of the 125-mile-an-hour class. Again, target speed is 125 miles an hour average. They can go up to 150 miles an hour on these normally 50. These are 55-mile-an-hour roads, right?
I believe so.
Just say that out loud a couple of times. I mean, the government has indicated to normal drivers such as you and I that the maximum speed that should be traveled is 55, and they're maxing out at 150. Crazy. Here goes car 3.
Brian Chandler, as Jeremy mentioned, Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Shane Kuhl alongside. Shane, of course, a big part of this Sandhills Open Road Challenge over the years. Was on the board of directors and put in a lot of time over the years, did Shane, to make sure that this event took off each and every year, and now the last few years has been able to be inside a car and competing in it.
Car number 9 up next, Dave Smith, Joe Bob Atkins, a 2017 Chevy Corvette, white with black and red accents on it.
Dave Smith from Gothenburg, Nebraska. Long-term roots in the Arnold community. Loves getting together to race each and every year.
Receiving word from Joan Burney that a car has broken down between station 12 and 13. The drivers are okay and out. The car is completely off the road, and obviously as competition has continued, that will not be a deterrent. That will not be a deterrent to the drivers heading out on the course. And also all 95-mile-an-hour participants are in on the other end as car number 12 of Ted Hughes and Cody Jantz comes up next, a 2016 Dodge Viper. Beautiful looking car, gray with black and red accents. Again, just 5 cars here in this 125-mile-an-hour class.
Ted Hughes in car number 12, a familiar name here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Ted coming from Seward, Nebraska.
And there goes the Viper. That brings up car number 97, the second to last car in this 125-mile-an-hour class. A.J. Meadows, Kendra Meadows, the Navigator, 2017 Chevy Corvette. That Dodge Viper was the only non-Corvette competitor in this 125-mile-an-hour class.
A.J. Meadows from Stanton, Texas. Would like to thank all the board members and volunteers for making this race possible every year. Obviously, without the volunteers, something like this just doesn't happen, folks. And the people who drive many miles to be here and be a part of this competition are certainly appreciative of all of the volunteer help and effort that goes into putting this race on year after year.
AJ and Kendra, 5 seconds away from going on down the course. And here they go. That brings up another familiar name, a record holder, Mark Kapner and Scott Kapner in the 2019 Chevy Corvette. You folks that have been watching the shootout and the SORC for a while might remember his Lamborghini that went over 220 miles an hour in recent years, setting a record in that competition. Car 811, a blue Chevy Corvette.
Mark comes to us from Idaho Falls, Idaho. He says, what a fun course. The Sandhills Open Road Challenge is the best in America. And there are a lot of drivers that say that. They love the course. It's challenging, and they love competing on it.
Well, and even though you probably don't have much time to look up from your steering wheel, those times that you do glance up, pretty beautiful out there as well. Not much time for looking around, though. As car 112 comes up next. Now, the tech speed for this class, the 120-mile-an-hour class, is also slower than the target speed for the previous class, so the cone won't come out. They'll roll right into this class. Jared Helge and Matthew Helge up next in the 2009 Chevy Corvette.
Coming from Fort Wayne, Indiana, our notes list that they were the second place winner in the 115-mile-an-hour class in 2022.
Again, thank you to the corporate sponsors of action: Beck's, Viero, Blueprint Engine, South Loop Seed, DeKalb and Asgrow, as well as Pinnacle Bank, Hornaday, Optima Batteries, Great Plains Communications, 444 Racing, and KCNI KBBN Radio. As the 120-mile-an-hour class has begun with Jared and Matthew out on the course. Jeremy Gosson up next. Car 343, this is a 2001 Chevy Corvette.
Jeremy Gosson from Papillion, Nebraska says Gosson Brothers Racing is delighted to participate in the 2023 Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Sends out a huge thank you to the Arnold and surrounding communities that put forth the effort to make this event possible.
And they're about 15 seconds away from heading out on the course. Want to give a shout out to everyone helping us put on the broadcast today. Cadence Feldman is running the camera that captures the cars as they go up on the course. Her right arm's going to be tired by the end of today. She swings that camera side to side. Kristen Shirley is up in the stands, giving us a high vantage point. Everybody in the stands just jumped. That car went from quiet to loud so fast.
That was awesome.
I wish we had a camera shot of how everybody went like this when that car left. That was amazing. Grant Winter behind the controls here today, giving you the different camera angles on the video stream, keeping an eye on that stream as well. And then sitting to my right, rather, is Brent Apperson. I'm Jeremy Shipe. Glad to be here with you on the radio and video as car 426 comes up next. Doug Jones, Daniel Jones in a 2017 Ford Mustang GT.
Coming from Ipswich, South Dakota. Look forward to the event every year and meeting up with friends and the folks who put on the SORC race here in Arnold. And since I know Jeremy won't brag about himself, I'll brag about him for you folks. Jeremy is the guy behind all of your video work that gets done on this video stream. Jeremy puts a lot of time and effort into positioning the cameras and getting everybody in the spot that they need to be to make this thing happen. So thank you, sir. Your work is greatly appreciated.
Well, thanks. Car 650 up next. Love the look of this white Corvette. Black accents. A little bit of red splashed in there as well. Jared Roberts is the driver. Jason Clinton is the navigator of this 2015 Corvette.
Jared Roberts from Gretna, Nebraska, third-generation Nebraskan, racing in SORC for the 11th time.
And the countdown is on, and that's our last car of the 120-mile-an-hour class. That Corvette Z07 out on the track. That brings us the 120 Extreme class, and again, tech speed is 120, target speed is also 120, so they're just going to be trying to get up to 120 miles an hour as regularly as they can. Todd Gransky and Melissa Gransky up first in their 2020 Ford Shelby.
Granskys have been here before. They're from Utica, Nebraska. Says they are back again. Last year they said they competed in the 120 Extreme, and it was a lot of fun.
.120 Extreme has 2 entries. This is the first of 2 as they get ready to go out on the course and go quick. We look back at last year, 29 minutes, 17.678 seconds. Todd and Dylan Gransky were the winners of that division last year. RT Green and Lindy Daly have something to say about that. They are the other entry in the 120 Extreme class this year. Their purple 2019 Dodge Challenger ready to go with that 444 on the side. And RT, a transplant, loved Arnold and Central Nebraska so much, just made it his home. And 444 Racing, one of the corporate sponsors as well. RT, a huge supporter of everything this week.
That really is a great story. You come here from out of the area, you experience the area, and then you move to the area.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
And RT and Lindy are off and on the course. And that will bring the cone out as we get set and ready for our third to last group. The 115-mile-an-hour class is up next. Ryan Firstenow and Rich Clements will start it in their 2014 Dodge Viper. It is yellow in color. We'll kind of wait and see an indication of how long we'll be waiting here.
Well, as we have moved just past the 10 o'clock hour, we will remind you that you're listening to live coverage of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge on KBBN 95.3 FM, Broken Bow, Nebraska, online at kbbn.com. Again, we are supplying a live video stream of today's activity from here at the start line in Arnold. You can access that through sandhillsexpress.com by finding the links to the Sandhills Express Facebook page and Sandhills Express YouTube channel. We also remind you that our radio coverage will continue through the afternoon as Dave Burney will be visiting with drivers as they make their way back to Arnold, Nebraska. Again, this is just leg one. They make the run down and then make the return trip. Both legs of the race will be calculated into their speed and time to determine the winner of this event, which will be announced later on today at the award ceremony at the City Park in Arnold coming up this evening. So we do encourage you to continue to listen for coverage of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge throughout the rest of the day on the voice of SORC, KBBN, Broken Bow.
And it looks like maybe the cone will be moving somewhat soon, but we'll take this opportunity to again thank our radio sponsors. Silver sponsors include Wenquist Incorporated, the Smoke Shack in Broken Bow, Anderson Auto Tech, the Sandhills Corral in Thetford, Trotter Service Broken Bow, Gateway Motors, Reed's Food Center, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Trumbull Repair and Towing, Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, Mills Hardware in Arnold, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, and CarQuest of Broken Bow. And for those of you watching the video stream, make sure you notice those sponsors that are scrolling across the top right-hand part of your screen, whether you're watching on a tablet, a phone, or your television at home. Those are the sponsors making all of the video production possible this year. Looks like we're just less than 30 seconds out from Ryan Firstenau and Rich Clements heading out in their 2014 Dodge Viper. Again, last year's winner in the 115 mile an hour class was them. They were just plus .044 off of perfect. And there they go.
And as Ryan takes off, we can tell you that Ryan is from Neely, Nebraska. Ryan was the 2022 115 mile per hour winner in 2022.
Here's car number 56, Perry White and Brenda White in their 2000 Chevy Corvette, all black, silver wheels, and they get the indication on their light coming soon.
Perry White from Brainerd, Minnesota. Perry being mentioned in the program by saying that he, like so many others, appreciate the hospitality of the people of Arnold and the surrounding communities that put on this event.
And Perry and Breda are off. That brings to us car number 376, Steve Tasca and Alex McGill, a 2009 Nissan GTR. This one was the talk of yesterday, for sure, setting a record.
Yeah, competed in the half-mile shootout, did Steve, and went 209 miles an hour plus, picking that up in a half mile. Wow.
And we saw one run in the mile that was just over 200 miles an hour as well, but I believe Steve in the half mile went faster than anybody in the half mile or the mile throughout the day yesterday. And he's about to head out on the 115 mile an hour class side of things here on Sandhills Open Road Challenge Day from Arnold in 2023. Car 203 is next. John and Derek Loken, 2003 Chevy Corvette, the fourth of 8 in our 115 mile an hour class today.
They're from Omaha, Nebraska. John is a retired tool and die maker, and I believe knows Jeremy's dad, which prompted John in the program to say hello to Jeremy Shipe.
And if John has the, I don't want to distract him. Oh, yep, there's the honks. My dad says hi back, John. Talked to him last night. He was watching the broadcast yesterday, and he said, yep, John and I worked at DeStefano back in the day. Have fun out there, John. It'd be a blast.
It's a small world, isn't it?
It is. Car number 77 comes up next. Dan Axemet and Danny Lee. Dan and Danny together in the 2016 Chevy Corvette, a yellow one, with a little bit of yellow on the wheels that are mostly black. Yellow calipers in there, providing the stopping power today.
Dan is from Broomfield, Colorado. Another one of our several Colorado competitors coming here to the Arnold area and to central Nebraska to make the run through the Sandhills.
Again, this is our fourth to last car. We're halfway through the 115 mile an hour class this morning. All of the 100 mile an hour competitors have reached the end of the first leg of the race. Thank you again, Joan. Car 187 comes up next. This is a 1996 Chevy Camaro. Dustin Sababka and Todd Schneider, the driver and navigator respectively, in this black Camaro.
Dustin from Valparaiso, Nebraska, been a part of SORC dating back to 2007. Looks forward to the return trip to Arnold each and every year.
I get excited for SORC time and I don't even get behind the wheel of a vehicle. I can't even imagine being so excited for this each year, knowing the racing is coming up and I'm going to be in a vehicle. I know a lot of these racers talk about receiving those slips of paper in the mail that say that they have made the field of cars accepted each year, because unless you're a SORC lifer, it's not guaranteed. I know they're always looking in the mail for those pieces of paper to come in. Car 289 up next, Aaron Anderson and Kendra Anderson in their 2017 Ford Shelby. Beautiful blue color with black accents.
Aaron and Kendra, coming from Lincoln, Nebraska, says they feel so fortunate to have the opportunity to participate in SORC with their 2017 Shelby that they feature again this year.
Again, one car after Aaron and Kendra in the 115 mile an hour class. Their average target speed is 115 miles an hour. Their tech speed or maximum speed that they can travel is 145 miles an hour in order to average that 115. Joan passing along 10 seconds ago that all the 125 mile an hour class cars are in, which is not that long ago. They get moving when you get up here in these classes.
You get to that 120 and 125, it doesn't take them very long to make it to the other end.
Last car, the 115 mile an hour class, sitting in front of us here on the north side of Arnold, Jack Jones and Gary Bates in a 2013 Dodge Viper. Second Viper of this 115 mile an hour class.
Jack from the state of Iowa, coming back to SORC here in 2023. Jack mentions in his bio that he's retired, which allows him the opportunity to participate in events such as the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Ten-second countdown is on for the 999 car to end this 115 mile an hour class. Love that license plate too. It's perfect for a Viper. It says Venomous. When I was up in Halsey for the loop-to-loop race, I tried to take a picture of as many of the custom plates as I could, and I put a compilation of that up on my Facebook page, and that was one of them. So cool to see the variety of license plates out there. 110 mile an hour class is upon us. This class a little bit bigger than the previous. 13 cars here. Chad Christensen and Aaron Wells up first in their 2011 Chevy Corvette.
Chad from Maroka, Nebraska, says Aaron is from Colorado Springs. Aaron serving as the navigator today. I like what Chad says. He says the race is the excuse, but the extended race family is the reason to come back and participate in SORC.
And the countdown is on. Chad and Aaron heading out now. Another one of those custom plates. That one says it's loud. Here's car 285, Tom Sorrells and Jeremy Riley. 2010 Dodge Viper ACR. It's red and black. Love this car.
Tom's had some really good success over the years here at this event. This is the 9th year to participate in this great event here in Arnold. Tom out of Odessa, Texas, making the journey up to Arnold, Nebraska again this year.
Again here in the 110 mile an hour class, Chad Christensen and Aaron Wells, who had it out not that long ago, were the winners last year. 0.034 seconds under a perfect time. Car number 1 up next, it's Joe Schoen and Bob Mann in a 2011 Chevy Corvette. Love the light blue color of this paired with those chrome wheels. Beautiful, beautiful look on this vehicle. Joe rolls up that window and gets ready to head out on the course. This is the third car of 13 in the 110 mile an hour class.
Joe was visiting with us a little bit yesterday after the half-mile and 1-mile shootout and was sharing with us that I believe he has a friend in Korea that tunes into the video stream and watches the action of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. That's pretty neat.
That's awesome. That might win the award for farthest viewer as far as distance goes from Arnold, Nebraska. Again, folks, feel free to comment in the comment section on YouTube or Facebook where you're watching from and who you're cheering on. We'd love to hear from you. Car number 6 comes up next. This car is driven by Jeff Preston. Rochelle Preston is the navigator. I've gotten off by one line or two here. This is Chris Brady in a 1977 Mustang Cobra, the 4th car in the class.
For Chris, 14th year participating in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Chris says he retired and moved to Arnold in 2019. Has participated in many open road races. This is definitely the most challenging.
Good thing we're wearing headphones or we'd be plugging our ears like everyone else. That brings next to the line Eric Schmidt, 1989 Chevy Corvette, red in color. I believe Eric might have added that scoop to the hood. I normally see the hardware hanging out of that hood out year after year. A little bit more aerodynamic this year, possibly. Love the look of this Corvette, ready to go in the 110 mile an hour class here today.
Eric Schmidt, Lincoln, Nebraska, 22nd year attending SORC.
The countdown is on at car number 11, ready to head out. Cooking in no time, and that brings up the 6th car in the 110 mile an hour class. Jeff Preston and Rochelle Preston in a 2018 Ford Mustang GT.
Jeff, another one of our great local competitors from right here in Arnold, Nebraska. Jeff says been looking forward to this year's race since last year. 4th race together.
Ten seconds away from heading out on the course. Great crowd still hanging around here as we've got about 1.5 classes to go here in SORC 2023. Again, this is the first leg of 2. They'll go north, and then Dave Burney will have coverage on KBBN as everybody heads back here towards Arnold. Lots of great things going on in Arnold again today. Awards and barbecue going on tonight. Charlie Friend up next. This is a 2014 Cadillac CTS-V, silver in color. Beautiful looking 2-door.
Charlie from the state of Nevada. Charlie Friend retired from the Air Force as a fighter pilot in 1980. Following his retirement, he was extremely fortunate to land a job flying military type jet fighters for a civilian company under government contract. He retired from that full-time work in 1997, and after that only worked short-term flying jobs. Great to have Charlie back here from the state of Nevada to compete in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Getting word from the other end that all the 120 mile an hour competitors are in. And Charlie is off on the course. Gregory Erlinson and Chris Cudmore up next in the 2016 Ford Mustang GT, wearing number 212 on the side. White Mustang with the black accents.
Greg resides in Rapid City, South Dakota, where he's a lawyer. Says this is his 4th year at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
About 25 seconds away from them heading out on the course. Wanted to give a shout out to some of our video sponsors that you see scrolling on the stream, which a replay will be available of for you to share with your friends after the broadcast is over. Thank you to CarQuest in Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, First Aid Insurance in Arnold, Mills Hardware, and the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, as well as Faraday Auto Parts. Car 2, 3, 4 up next. Brian Mislanka, a 1999 Chevy Corvette. Kind of a deep red color. Not quite maroon, but not really red either. Beautiful car.
Brian is from Lincoln, Nebraska. Really enjoys racing at SORC and would like to thank everyone that helps make this event such a success year after year.
A little bit more time between these cars here because the tech speed is 145 miles an hour. That's the maximum speed they can go in order to reach a average speed of 110 miles an hour. So obviously need a little bit more time in between in order to get that accomplished. Beautiful day continues to be here in Arnold. I've got this long sleeve shirt on, and this is the first time I've really thought about taking it off, and it's just 10:30, so it's getting about that temperature where it's going to be comfortable t-shirt and shorts weather. And we're seeing some information coming in on the radios here, and the cone is coming out, and we'll have a stoppage before car number 234 comes out on the course. Again, that would be the 9th out of 13 cars in the 110 mile an hour class. And the cone does a single touch and then comes back over to the side, and going to have information going into Brian, and he gets the 10-second call. So good sign there. If there was a stoppage, it's not a very long one. And we continue on as Brian takes off. James Lockhart to the line next, car 311. This is a 2016 Chevy Corvette. All black, a splash of red. Only on the calipers providing the stopping power. You know, we talk so much about the engines and all of the modifications made to them, but suspension and brakes, very important as well. I think brakes may be almost more important than the engine itself. It's a close second, I think.
Well, as we get ready for James Lockhart to take out on the course, we can tell you James is from Lincoln, Nebraska. Says he's a SORC sophomore, loved everything about the rookie year a year ago. Very nice people, amazing volunteers, great community, beautiful area, and awesome events. Good to have you back this year, James, from Lincoln, Nebraska.
There goes James, and that brings up car 315, Kevin Miller and Bruce Osborne, a 2020 Ford Shelby GT, red in color, black accents.
Number 315, Kevin Miller, Littleton, Colorado, an electrical engineer hailing from Littleton, Colorado.
About 20 seconds away from Kevin being the 11th car out on the course in the 110 mile an hour class. Both of the 120 Extreme drivers are in as of moments ago. Thanks for the report, Joan. That means the furthest back class that still has drivers out would be the 115 mile an hour class, which was right before this class here. Car 969, it's our second to last vehicle here in the 110. This car went the fastest in the mile, if I recall correctly from yesterday. Dan Rohrbach and Braden Malsum, a 2014 Chevy Corvette, went over 200 miles an hour yesterday.
Dan from Aberdeen, South Dakota, 7th year competing in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Made his 6th appearance in the loop-to-loop race earlier this week.
Second to last car here in this class. Thank you to Broken Bow Legends Neighborhood Grill, Govier Brothers Mortuary with the Arnold and Mullen Funeral Homes, Nebraska State Bank, Rod's Body and Paint, Cobblestone Hotel and Suites, as well as Power Solutions, also video sponsors of our action here today. So that brings to the line Andrew Ramft, a 2018 Porsche Boxster. It's a convertible, tops up for the racing today. Our last car of the 110 mile an hour class today.
Andrew from Garden Ridge, Texas, been coming to Nebraska for many years and loves the event because of the people who host the event at all the locations. Good to have you back again this year, Andrew, and best of luck.
I love that gray color. I see it on pickup trucks. I see it on fast cars. I don't know what it's called, but I need to figure it out. I would love to have a car that is that specific color right there. And there goes the last car of the 110 mile an hour class. And I think, Brent, you're going to be leaving us on the broadcast side. Appreciate your help, my friend.
Yes, we'll let Jeremy take you through the final class that'll be getting out on the road. I'll be headed back to the station. We'll be engineering the coverage from there, as Dave Burney will have coverage of the return trip of these drivers coming up for you here on KBBN 95.3 FM.
All right, thanks, Brent. And we'll continue on. We've got one class left here. This is the 105 mile an hour class. First car up is going to be Mike Black in car 996. No navigator listed for Mike. This is a 2022 Chevy Corvette, another one of those beautiful mid-engine Corvettes that I love so much. Kind of see the heat coming off the back side of the vehicle there. Engine is back there. There they go. This is a 2022 105 mile an hour class winner. The most accurate time, .014 off of perfect last year, and Mike is back to try to defend his medal last year. Car 462 is Jason Rader in the 100 mile an hour class last year, was the winner there, just over a half a second off of perfect. A rivalry brews in the fast-paced world of NASCAR between rookie hotshot Jason Rader and veteran racer Aaron Anderson. When both of them are seriously injured in competition, the former bitter rivals become close friends. With Jason's spirits restored by a romance with neurosurgeon Dr. Kate Frau-Blucher and Aaron still sidelined by injuries, Jason decides to race Aaron's car in the SORC 500 against underhanded newcomer Tom Kirk. There goes car 462, a 2012 Ford Mustang. That brings Kelly Bork to the line. Car number 15, color scheme-wise, I'm not afraid to say it. I love this color scheme. I think it's maybe my favorite out of all of the cars here. Great look, Kelly, rookie driver. 2019 Corvette, came to SORC with Barry Conkin last year, and he says, I must say, wow, the event was incredible, so well ran. To help fulfill his need for speed, he's worked for NASCAR as a racing instructor and ride-along driver for 15 years. Calls it driver's ed at 180 miles an hour. Kelly Bork, the driver here of the third car of the 105 mile an hour class, heading out here in a short 5 seconds or so. That brings up car number 25, Leroy Uhrig and Brad Wheelhouse in a 2008 Ford Mustang. Enjoy interacting with Brad all year long about what Brad's got going on in his life regarding the racing side of things. Glad to have you back in Arnold again, Brad. 105 mile an hour class here, the fourth car in the class. As usual, the Lone Beer Light Race team is ready as can be for a little racing and probably a few, if not too many, adult beverages. Leroy says thanks to the SORC board and the safety and fire crews that keep them safe during the event, and they also thank the awesome sponsors. Keep them in mind when you need their services or hardware. Well said there, Leroy. Lots of great corporate sponsors and sponsors of the broadcast as well. There they go in the 2008 Ford Mustang. Car number 48 up next, Denny Powell and Connie Powell in a 2019 Chevy Corvette. Where's number 48 on the side? 14th year enjoying another great SORC week in Arnold, the 9th trip running in the loop-to-loop earlier this week. They thank everyone that contributes in making it such an awesome event, from organizers, volunteers, and landowners to the hospitality of homeowners that let them be a part of their family. They're running their 2019 Silver and Black Z06. It's the 5th year with that car. They can't believe it's been 5 years with it. They wish everyone good luck and a big thank you to everyone that makes this such a great event. Gray and black Corvette is out. Sixth car in the class, Robert Dysart and Leland Dysart in the 2002 Porsche 996 Turbo, wearing number 64 on the side. Rookie driver, first run at the SORC. Have heard a lot of great things about it. Robert says, my brother and I have been messing with cars most of our lives and are looking forward to the car playground in Nebraska. It can be described as a playground, that is for sure. Fun course out there, lots of different curves and turns. Plenty of acceleration, but plenty of braking involved as well. Again, tech speed or maximum speed with the target average speed of 105. Tech speed, max speed 140. Sixth car in the class, heading out now. And here comes a crowd favorite. Everyone likes a little bit of noise, right? But it's also a beautiful 1965 Chevy Corvette. Nick Eckberg, Lyle Eckberg, ready to go out here as the 7th car in the 105 mile an hour class. They'll share driving duties on the loop-to-loop and SORC. Nick will likely drive in the shootout, so Lyle can tell him how much faster he would have been. Lyle is a retired automotive mechanic and shop owner in Wakefield and still owns part of Napa Wakefield. He spends his days now working on old cars in his garage, trying to give his grandkids the racing bug. Nick owns an automotive repair shop and salvage yard and part owner of Napa Wakefield. Welcome back to the father and son team of the Eckbergs. And there's no use in me talking, saying they're going. You're going to hear it. There they go, and the smell of burnt rubber. We can give you sights and sounds, but we can't give you the smells over your stream. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that technology doesn't come out sometime in our lifetimes. That'd be pretty cool. Car 107 coming up next. Terry Pollard and Gary Halstead in a 2013 Chevy Corvette, wearing the number 107 on the side. 10th year racing at Loop-to-Loop and SORC. Gary Halstead is the excellent navigator from Arnold and has been for 8 years. Terry says he's grateful to be steering with Gary and Mary Jo Halstead during the races. They've become good friends and are his Arnold family. They've improved their racing each year and have come close to victory more than once. These races are one he looks forward to all year long and the most enjoyable of Corvette racing since the 60s. It's in large part because of the citizens of Arnold and the friendly atmosphere of the event. And off goes that red Corvette. Car 133 up next. All black with a little bit of splash of yellow on the brake calipers of this car. Joe Wolf, the driver. Liz Franson is the navigator of this 2016 Chevy Corvette. Joe from Pierre, South Dakota, drives a 2016 Corvette. His wife of 32 years does not like speed like he does, so navigator is Liz Franson from Broken Bow. This will be the 5th year racing at the events. Owns a glass shop, Chandler Glass, in Pierre, South Dakota. Looking forward to seeing friends in Arnold every race season. Joe says you have a great community, hospitality, and you always let Leroy come back. There goes Joe out on the course. Our 5th to last vehicle heading out in SORC 2023. 10th car in the class is Jay Hill and Kathy Hill, the driver and navigator respectively. A beautiful all yellow Corvette. Coming to us from Thornton, Colorado. Jay and Kathy have been married for 44 years. They met in high school when she was 15 and he was 16. They've been together ever since and have 5 children and 4 grandkids. Jay always wanted to have a Corvette, but with raising their family and all their other priorities, it didn't seem possible, so there were no more thoughts about that subject. Then in 2016, while at the Chevy dealer getting an oil change on the pickup, the salesman sees Jay looking at some of the Corvettes and says, "Do you want to test drive one?" Even during the test drive, neither Jay nor Kathy even considered the possibility of buying until they were introduced to the yellow Z06. 3 hours later, they were the proud owners of Jake. Everyone at the dealer had already chosen the name for the car, and there it goes down the course. Very cool story. Good luck to Jay and Kathy. Car 333 up next. Had some great matching speeds at the shootout yesterday in competition. Michael Rasmussen in this 1995 BMW 318 Ti. Plattsmouth is where Michael comes to us from. The little Beamer that could, back again this year. The goal is always to keep the car on the road and off the roof while having fun, but if a plaque ends up in their hands on awards night, that would be icing on the cake. They look forward to the hospitality in Arnold, Callaway, and Halsey, and cannot wait until race week to catch up with all the friends they've made over the years. And that BMW is out on the course. That brings to us our 2nd to last entry. This is car 357. T. Coy Morales coming to us from Kerrville, Texas. Kim Morales is the navigator in a 2018 Chevy Corvette. Coy has been participating in open road races for the past 5 years. 2 years ago, his wife Kim joined him as navigator for the SORC, and it was a great experience for both of them. The organization and location is by far their favorite. They weren't able to participate last year, but they're looking forward to getting out on the course this year. Their Camaro ZL1 1LE has been fun to use in Fort Stockton, Nevada and Nebraska, as well as on the Circuit of America track in Austin, Texas. Know they love their racing there in Texas. Thanks for bringing your Camaro up to Cornhusker State. Up next, car number 392, Scott Fry and Becky Fry, the last vehicle of SORC 2023 to drive this first leg, a 2021 Dodge Challenger, black in color. Loveland, Colorado is where Scott comes to us from. Officially hooked on the culture and racing at SORC in 2016, navigating for David Wag in the 102 car. Has been back every year since. In 2021, he took a year off to volunteer with the hardworking SORC team. Raised in Poudre Canyon along with Forrest Smith, now settled in with wife Becky in Loveland, Colorado. They have 3 children, and Scott currently works as a reconstruction project manager for a national restoration company, Blue Sky Restoration. Glad to have you back again, Scott. There goes that Dodge Challenger 2021 out on the course as the final car of SORC 2023. And with that, everybody stands up out of the stands and will make the walk back towards Arnold as the Blueprint engine tent has already started to be torn down. And the pickup and cleanup begins on this side. They'll move all of the equipment down to the other side as everyone will make their way back for the second leg of the race. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been amazing to be with you. We've got some sponsors to thank for sure before we end our broadcast. Our last few video sponsors I want to thank this last time include Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, Trotter Service Broken Bow, J.R. Meyer Insurance, Aero Aviation, and the Callaway Market, as well as Bierman Vet Services. You'll continue to see those scroll on your screen while we take down some equipment here on a thank you for watching screen with Grant. We want to again thank our radio broadcast sponsors, CarQuest of Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, Mills Hardware in Arnold, Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers. Our silver sponsors include Trumbull Repair and Towing, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Reed's Food Center, Gateway Motors, Trotter Service Broken Bow, Sandhills Corral, Anderson Auto Tech, The Smoke Shack, and Wenquist Incorporated. Boy, folks, I tell you what, it's been another great Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Couldn't ask for more beautiful weather the last 3 days. And I know these racers would agree when I say that there is nothing quite like racing in central Nebraska. Not only the racing itself, but the people as well, the hospitality, the friendliness, the camaraderie, and just all getting along and coming together for a little bit of horsepower and some loud exhaust together here in central Nebraska. It's been another great year for SORC, and our continued coverage will be on 95.3 FM, as well as KBBN.com and the free KBBN app. David J. Burney is going to be bringing you that coverage for the rest of today until SORC is all wrapped up and all of the drivers are headed back here towards Arnold. Again, you are invited to check out some of the other events happening today in Arnold. The barbecue as well as the awards are going to be coming your direction here later on today. Want to thank our great broadcast crew. Brent Apperson is headed back to the studio to do some engineering for Dave. Want to thank Cadence Feldman and Kristen Shirley for working on cameras and helping us with setup today. Grant Winterer is our video broadcast engineer for SORC 2023. Thank you very much, Grant. For Brent Apperson, I'm Jeremy Shipe, wishing you a wonderful rest of your day. More SORC coverage coming to you on KBBN. That'll wrap up the video portion of our broadcast this morning. Again, thank you, everybody. Make sure to share that video. Let the racers that are participating here today see that and have them watch the replay. And thank you so much one more time to all of the wonderful sponsors that made everything possible. We'll return to regular programming. More SORC coverage coming your way shortly on KBBN Radio.